Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up here. XRP reclaims the top 100. We'll get into it. BlackRock tokenizing 50 billion. Oh boy. And the DTCC just listed XRP spot ETFs. And guess what else? Rex Osprey spot XRP ETF goes live today. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $4.11 trillion market cap for crypto. Look at the money coming into this space, 4.11. We are 0.9% up on the cryptocurrency market cap, and Bitcoin 115,000 plus, Ethereum 4,500 plus, XRP $3.04. Now we're up 1.3 on the 24. We're up 5.9 on the 7-day. Let's take a look at the range of price, ranging between 299 and 306, ladies and gentlemen. We will keep an eye on it. Ladies and gentlemen, Caleb and Brown, Crypto Brokerage. All you have to do is go to xrpwealth589.com. No more worrying if I've been hacked, if my transfers went through, or if I set my market orders correctly. With Caleb and Brown, I finally have institutional grade custody for my XRP and a real person I can speak with anytime I need support. They completely eliminated the fear of losing my assets or struggling with self-custody. Caleb and Brown is redefining what service should look like for everyday investors. This is a total game changer, and it really is. And until you try it, you won't know. But I'm telling you, all you have to do is go to xrpwealth589.com and open your free account today, and you'll start getting the real peace of mind that you deserve. XRP reclaims a spot in the global top 100 as BlackRock's real-world asset tokenization plan positioned XRP Ledger for major growth. Really? Here it is right here. XRP back in the top 100, knocking on the door of Citigroup, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, how about that one? Keep an eye on it. We'll track it. BlackRock moves to tokenize stocks ETFs after $50 billion Bitcoin fund success, bridging Wall Street assets with blockchain rails, marking institutional finance's boldest step into tokenized real-world assets yet. Now, this is where I remind everybody that the translation here for this is Ondo is how Wall Street comes on chain. BlackRock is Wall Street. Ripple partner Ondo Finance is bringing Wall Street on chain. And we can't forget that OUSG, which is tokenized U.S. Treasuries, are in conjunction with BlackRock's Biddle Fund on the XRP ledger. So is it crazy for us to think that BlackRock would continue to use the XRP ledger for stocks and ETFs after the $50 billion success Bitcoin fund was? I don't think so. Not to mention the fact that we're also going to see BlackRock speaking at Ripple Swell in New York, where Wall Street is. That's right. Maxwell Stein, Director of Digital Assets at BlackRock, will be at Swell. This is all pointing in good direction for where I'm coming from. And then we got this. This is super positive to me. Just in from Watcher Guru, DTCC lists Fidelity's Solana ETF and Canary's XRP ETF. And this is super exciting because, look, well, first of all, I want to share this because you know what? In full disclosure, Nate Garazzi rightfully says here, public service announcement, the DTCC, the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation listing of the Fidelity Solana ETF and Canary XRP and HBAR ETFs doesn't mean anything from a regulatory standpoint. It's all on the SEC. We need that approval from the SEC. However, I think we all know, and Eric Balkunas from Bloomberg also says, agree, nothing to see here. That said, how many tickers are added that never launched? Probably almost none, right? So it's a bit of a split here. I mean, obviously, the literal meaning is that we need the SEC to approve it. But as Eric Balkunas hints to here, seeing the DTC list these products, knowing that in history, none of that have been listed are not launched at some point. So It is very positive sign that we're seeing this come, and more positive news coming as well. I think to add to the point, subjective views makes a great point here. The DTC acts as a central clearinghouse and depository. They ensure that transactions are processed efficiently and securely. When the DTC lists an ETF, it means the ETF has been added to the DTC's infrastructure, which is a critical part of the U.S. post-trade financial services ecosystem. The plumbing is being laid, and the products are being rolled out into the gate, and like horses going into the gate, as soon we're going to see the starting gun fired and it'll all take off. That's what I think we're watching here. And Nate Garazzi sits down with Matthew Tuttle, CEO of Tuttle Capital Group. And I want you to hear this last piece that he has when he asked him.
Filing, so I'll throw that out there. But what can you tell us about these?
Yeah, and actually, interestingly, they are all just about ready to go from an effectiveness standpoint.
Meaning everything is done and ready the way it needs to be. Now it's coming down to exactly what we heard from Eric Balchunas and Nate Garazzi from himself. This is all on the SEC, and it's super bullish that the DTCC has listed these products on their books. Loving that. And then this is absolutely going live today. I've asked Grok. Now, CLD thought it was not going today and they would be pushed back to the middle of next week. Maybe that's right. Maybe it's not. I asked Grok, and Grok said it is live today. This is the Rex Osprey XRP Spot ETF, set to launch today, ladies and gentlemen. The first XRP Spot ETF. And that is, this one has just gotten approved without objection. Will go live today. And these are the others that are in waiting here. Grayscale, 21 shares, Bitwise, Canary Capital, Wisdom Tree, Franklin Templeton, CoinShares, and many others. Remember, there's like 19 in total that we know about. We're still waiting for BlackRock to file theirs. But all of the rest of these are looking like in the next 4 weeks is what it looks like. And to confirm, here's Grok. Yes, the Rex Osprey XRP ETF is a spot ETF as it provides direct exposure to the XRP cryptocurrency through a structure that invests in and holds XRP. So now, with that being said, this distinguishes it from the futures-based or indirect exposure products, allowing investors to access XRP spot price via traditional brokerage accounts. Yes, it went live today, says Grok. So there it is, making the first U.S. regulated spot ETF for XRP launch after clearing the SEC 75-day review without objections. The ETF began trading on major exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange, ARCA, following announcement from Rex Shares and Osprey Funds. I don't know about you, but I am like, whoa. Remember what JP Morgan said. They project $8 billion in the first month for XRP spot ETFs when they all are approved. Now, Stephen McClurg from Canary Capital, shout out to Stephen. He said he projects $5 billion. So in the next 4 weeks, we could see the other group, the massive group of ETFs, come online and get approved. And then we're talking about the massive money and demand for these products sucking up all the loose liquidity off of the exchanges. Think of it for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Shane Ellis theory in motion here. I want to bring this clip in from Sal Gilberti from Tucrium. Shout out to him, the 2 times leveraged futures of XRP products with Paul Barron. Listen to this exchange. You're going to love it.
You guys have been around for a long time, so you've seen these market cycles ebb and flow, and now we're in one where digital assets are now finally kind of growing up and making their way to Wall Street and their trek to Washington and all of that. You say it's a nascent market. How big could this be?
I think that crypto can be bigger than anyone imagines, because the people who focus on cap table and say there's not enough money to make these cap tables that big, that's not true, because it's got nothing to do with the amount of money. I mean, it does have to do with the amount of money, but not all of the crypto is going to be out there trading. So the cap table, it's like an AI company being worth, $500 billion. It's because there are only a limited number of shares that actually trade on that thing. And so that's how it's going to work with crypto. People are going to buy it and hold it and store it. What's Ripple going to do with its 40 billion XRP? Given that they filed to be a bank, There's one of the leading theories that they just hold that on their balance sheet. They get their banking license and they become a top 20 capitalized bank in the world. That's with XRP at $3. XRP goes to, some multiple of $3. They become a top 10 bank or even the top bank in terms of capitalization. That's pretty astounding.
That would be insanely astounding. And
yes, it would, wouldn't it? And you know what? Don't be surprised if something like that actually unfolds. We are waiting for that, and that could come as early as late October, early mid-November. So again, a very tight window for quite a few things to take place here, including the Clarities Act. So looking at this right here, let's look at some numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Crypto Insight UK. If you haven't seen the conversation I recently had with him, go into the playlist and search it on my channel. You'll find it's a great conversation. Shout out to Will. XRP closed its first daily candle since July 21st above this downwards trend line. Minimum target here is 360 now. You can see we're above it. This is the XRP to tether chart. You can see where we're above that line. This could get very interesting very quickly. And with the release of a first XRP spot ETF today, I tell you, the conversation is getting better all the time. Crypto Wizard says 365, then 450, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they're seeing. And I say, pull back a little bit. When in doubt, zoom out. XRP is still within the undervalued red zone, which is where we are now. The dark green price range is $4 to $45, and the light green, $45 to $250. None of us could ever know how hard this thing will go when it goes. We're going to have it happen first. And the other part is, how much of the fundamental news do we get that really unlocks the market? Do we get all the ETF approvals, or do we have this one approved and then for some strange reason other ones get pushed back and delayed? Do we have the Clarity Act passed, or are they going to mess that up in the 11th hour? Is Ripple going to get the banking charter and the Federal Reserve master account, or is that going to get delayed and pushed back? All of these things are macro fundamentals that move markets and inform people to where things are going. If we get all of those things, who knows? Maybe we go through the top of that light green band and talk about something brand new. But what I do know is that I'm tickled to death that I've had the awareness, and that all of us have had the awareness to find one another out here in this market, in this space, and track and run this journey together, because it's about to get really, really exciting. And I am so glad that we all get to share in this moment together as we move forward. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.